Yo, what up? This is Brian from UniDB Studios. Today I'm going to show you how you can mix a track that has a lot of instruments that is very occupied and very dense. So the most important thing to remember is volume, feeling, and space. When I say volume, that's probably the most overlooked one, because if I play something and the piano is really loud, then the rest has to be quieter by consequence. And that can really change the whole feeling of the track. If I redo the mix and now it's the synths that are in front and the piano is more in the background, everything can change. And you have to ask yourself, are those instruments meant to drive? Are they complementing another instruments? Then if you think about feeling should always be maintained throughout the track. You have to listen to the track as a whole all the time, because when you're getting caught up so much into individual instruments, sometimes you can miss a very crucial part, like for example like the punch of the percussions or something like that. You have to really get into the shoes of the producer and understand, like if you're gonna mix a synth, what was this synth supposed to do? What was its intention and what feeling was it supposed to bring? And then when we're carving out space, well, that can be through EQ zones. So for example, sometimes I can thin out a lot one instrument. You don't have a choice when you have, for example, 20 instruments playing at the same time. You might want to like really reduce a lot of the low end on the piano, even though it sounds less good by itself, so that the low end of the synth can come forward. And with pannings, you can also give different spaces to different instruments, and when they're panned at different settings, and also stereo width, reverbs, atmospheres. And you have to really maintain these three main components: volume, feeling, and space throughout your mix. So I have different sections of this track right here. Let me play you two different sections. So let me show you some examples. So first of all, the bass. The bass right here. So if you get into the producer's mind, it was clear to me that this bass was intended to be sitting on top of the other one more as a character, so less low end. It can also have a stereo field, while this one was meant to be like the main grit of the bass. And when played together, with and without the effects, this is what I have. So on the first bass, just adding the R bass really darkened quite a bit and added some compression. And on this one, I really put a S1 imager and I really tried to bring the high end and the character out of that bass. In that same section, I have three synths that take up a lot of space in that mix. So the first one, what I did is I carved out quite a bit of low end and a little bit of high end, and I boosted some presence here. I compressed it so it's not taking too much space dynamically. It permits the drums to punch through, and I put a S1 imager. So these two synths, first of all, were panned hard right and hard left, with little differences in between the pans. With the first synth, I really carved out with my EQ, gave it a very specific zone, added the S1 after that with asymmetry, so then it's also accentuating that panning. And then with the second synth, I really kept a lot of the high end so that the other one would pierce through. And I also put a S1 imager, but with the other side and different asymmetry going on. So then we have like a very dynamic stereo field. So these take up a lot of space, but now they're wide and they have their own zone, and it permits the other instruments to play. So in that same zone, I have a vocal effect here. That if I would have let really to be full by itself, It sounds better individually, but if I play within the mix, you can hear when I actually thinned it out this way, then you can hear the synths and the synth effects start to be more clear. Then I have this section right here. So basically I have 5 guitars, a piano, I have a couple of synths playing, so it's still a very dense section. Which I felt was the main driving instrument of the track, so I really wanted to keep that one full and then carve more of the other ones around it. I have 2 electric guitars on top of that one, which are panned, 25% right, 25% left. Carved out a lot of low end. Then I have 2 acoustic guitars on top of that. That are panned further to the left and right, 72 here and 65 here. They were giving a very specific zone, very narrow zone, so that they pierced through. This second one was given a little more shine than the other one. Then I have this piano right here, and since the stereo field was quite wide with the other one up top, then this one I wanted to be a little more center. So I still have a S1 imager going on here, but it's not too wide, and it has some asymmetry and rotation going on. Then I have many more spacey synths on top of that, so I gave them like reverbs and I made them wide. Everything all the while is being kept in mind how it plays together. Everything has panning effects accordingly and EQs as well. So, to not make this video too long, because I'm not going to review every instrument, I'm just going to say in conclusion, right? It's okay to make some instruments less punchy because that can permit the drums to punch through. It's okay to make some instruments thinner because it permits other instruments to pop. It's okay to sacrifice mid-range and make an instrument wider because then some mid-range in another instrument will pierce through, because people will only hear the track together. And so to make things dance together, they have to be heard clearly, dynamics have to be maintained, the transients, and that's pretty much it. That's how I go when I mix a track that's very dense and heavy. Thank you for watching. Peace out.